Last time on Talos Principle, we got to the desert. It's called the Room of Death or something like that. It has a really morbid name in the game. And I couldn't get any of those puzzles. We got a response to our query for our admin account on the computer, and nothing came of it. And then the bot wanted to ask us some more questions, so we talked to it for a little bit. Oh, we went to, this is in the B section, so we're trying to unlock more sigils for the fan upgrade and the play button. Work got rained out for me, which is why I can be here. Oh, nice. I'm glad that you can be here. That's kind of an unexpected good day off. Week started out well, just booted up some Hollow Knight. Nice. How's it going for you, Tal? You still loving it? Excited to see Talos. I really like the game. I'm not good at the puzzles, but I enjoy the game very much. Room of Death, the cozy vacation spot. Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm once again having to work through a stream I want to watch. See you in the VOD. Hi, Shameen. Welcome in. We'll see you in the VOD. Thanks for keeping up with us. It's good to see you, as always. I hope work goes quickly and smoothly and no hiccups. Alright, so last time I said I was gonna start with this one, I think, because we hadn't tried it yet, even though it's a red-orange difficulty room. And these are a bunch of symbols, and is this mine? No, this is Heisenstein. We read those last time. This is the one I wanted to try. Dog and sheep. I did read these, right? What's more pathetic, this shallow construct of a world, this idiot's playground, or that I continue to solve its contrivances for lack of better sport? There's more to it. Look at what we're doing. We're solving problems, being tested, improving ourselves. Some of us fall early and get replaced, but you and me, we're still going. We're closer to the end. Actually, I don't know if I did read that one. I can't remember. You good with puzzles? Once one clicks, all of them fall in place. Nice. I'm still loving it. It's tough, though. Just entered the Beast Den for the first time. That's so exciting. I'll not be home till after midnight for the fourth night in a row. I appreciate the well wishes. Okay, Shameen, I get it. I just hope that you can find something to pass the time, but if not, yeah, it's just part of the grind. Believes in dog and sheep and Jen. Hey, Seamus, welcome in. How are you? Just finished Hollow Knight Randomizer? Nice. Love the randomizer for that game. This is called Egyptian Arcade, our first puzzle of the day. No connectors or cubes required, which means we are gonna have turrets. The subtle tunes. I've been enjoying the music in this game, yeah. Hi Amaraya, welcome in. Avoiding spoilers for this one, but hope you're liking it so far. I totally get it. I hope that you get to play it soon. Thanks for popping in. Okay. So, I kind of just want to jam you to see what's up ahead. Oh, there's two of you. Fun, fun. Love that. But I should be able... It's a very long corridor, so I should be able to run past and grab this and then jam you. So that I can get a better look around. Egyptian Arcade. Hold on one second. I need to move my chat window back over here. Okay, we're good. This puzzle, yeah. Can't imagine how hard that could be. The randomizer is such a good time. It's not too bad. There's a lot of good tools to help you with it too. Stuck on a Dark Souls 2 boss at the moment. I'm excited to have stream to listen to. Makes it easier. Yep. I'm the same way. I like to have something on in the background or like something to focus on aside from the task at hand. I don't know that this... Okay, what if I let... now this one go all the way down there and I jam the other one and go grab the other jammer. You know what I mean? Oh, shoot. No, because I thought I had 2 jammers on the one. I messed that up. Okay, let's try again. I was trying to put 2 jammers on one turret. Maybe there's another jammer and I just haven't found it yet. No. Oops. Hello? Anybody home? You stay there.
Human beings, it turns out, are weird.
Hi Notch, welcome in. Thank you for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Welcome back to the human race. Enjoy Earth Badger emotes, your ad-free viewing. We're so glad to have you. I hope you're doing well. 5 months. It's pretty cool. I missed my opportunity to run down there. Okay, well, that's fine. Now there's 2 jammers jamming that one. Maybe it doesn't work the way I think it does. Or maybe... No, it does work that way. Strange. I just completely messed it up last time. Love the vibes of this map. Yeah, this area is cool. I don't miss the constant cicada noises of the other map. I do miss the rain. The rain was cool. Okay, so now if I open this, yeah, this is gonna come out of here, like, immediately. So maybe, can I jam you through the door? No. Interesting. I feel like I need to get one of these inside there, right? Cicadas are wild. We don't get them here, but I had to go on a trip to Central Florida, and wowee, they can be so loud. I like them. I like them because it's a familiar summer sound, but they are kind of brutal. Oh, wow. This is nerve-wracking. I feel like I have to do this, and now do this. I'm afraid to... Okay, let's see how far this one goes. Out this path, right? What's your path? All the way over there? We've got time. Oh no. Oh god. I think I messed that up. It's okay. I could have jammed it out, like left it outside the gate. Oh. It's a weird loud sound, but not like it bothered me. Like, they don't get super loud here. Maybe for a short period of the summer, I don't get annoyed with it, but then I'm not like outside all day every day either. I'm sure that could be grating. We have a lot of them in New Zealand and they can be loud, yeah. Hi Jordan, welcome in. Puzzle jamming's okay. So far so good today. Like white noise, yeah. I really should have locked that one out of this room, huh? We still can. Maybe? Not safely. Who's jamming what here? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can safely do this. Well, shoot. It's so narrow in here. I want to reset. I thought we were doing well. This is so funny. How do you know which direction they're facing? Here, let's explode ourselves. So we need to do the same thing, but I need to lock it out of that room instead of letting it come back in. I feel like it's a one-way puzzle. You just have to keep going forward, forward, forward. And hopefully there's a gate that opens at the end. Well, there's these keys. We're gonna get keys and open this door. Oh, we do have to come back the way that... I hate waiting for these to pass by. Hi Cavernous, welcome in. How's it going? We're gonna go get this one. Oh! Oh no, it's in the way! Boo. Hopefully that's fine. So much planning and preparation. Okay. Now we have to let you out. It would be cool if we could get two of these to collide with each other, right? Oh, that one won't go that far. I'm thinking through it. That's as far back as that one goes. Oh, this is so hard. I have to sneak in there and turn around and jam the door and then run out and grab the other jammer. I don't know if I have time to do it. There's gotta be an easier way. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Nope, we're gonna die. Dang it. I can't even grab that one. Oh, it hits that? Oh, I got so lucky. I shouldn't have won that. Okay, now we do that. Yes! That shouldn't have worked. Okay. Oh, scary, scary, scary. Now I got the keys. Which one of you is blocking the gate and which one of you is blocking the enemy? Okay. Nice. Oh, shoot. This isn't gonna work. Oh, I didn't know that would happen either. Do you come in here? Rude? Can I get by? No. I'm scared to try. Wait, I went back the way I came. Why did I get turned around? Oh well. Who is doing what? How did I go in a complete circle? That's hilarious. There's where the key thing is. Go, go, go. No, now I need the jammers. Who's this? This whole world is a desert. Even the parts that look alive are just more sand. Everything is dead or dying. Anyone who tells you different is lying. This map is too big. There's the piece. I hate it. Oh, leave me alone. Oh, that was the other door. I thought that one was blocking. I can't keep track of which things are blocking which things. Ugh. Can this be the last jammer puzzle, please? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm making this harder for myself by doing that one first. Is there a fast forward button ever that you can like speed up this waiting process? You can answer that. I really want to know if we can get around this waiting period. Good. I'm glad. Probably later when I don't need it for this purpose anymore, but oh, stop blocking the way of these. Ugh. Worst puzzle. Oh, this thing. I gotta figure out how to do this one properly. This doesn't work, right? I swear, I feel like I've tested this 100 times. Yeah, you can't do it through the bars. I forget how I did this. Not like that. Dang it. I give up. I don't want to do these ones anymore. They make me too nervous because I feel like I'm gonna get exploded at any second. There's gotta be a way to like take out. Oh, maybe I do need to put this in the path of view to have like two of these explode each other. Because as soon as I do this, I soft lock myself. Hi, Kazuko, welcome in. I'm already over it. I thought the puzzle was going well. I was wrong. Like, these were fine when you weren't constantly waiting for them to pass by you. Now it just feels like a waste of time. Alright, let's go. We got this. Scary, scary. Ugh. What if I have to just open both of the doors and run through and get the keys and come back? What if that's the solution? Ooh, or I have an idea. What if I jam this and put the turret like closer to the path of the little orb so that it blocks it from coming back in? I don't know that I can do that without dying. I don't think I can do that without dying. Oh yeah, I can, because if I freeze this one here, stay, and then, that made me nervous. I put this one like here, you know? Then it should block its path? Yeah. It's still gonna be tight. What if I'm so scared to like move it back further. I still don't want to touch it. I think that's the best I can do. Now how do we deal with this one though? Just run in and get the keys? It has the shortest path ever. Oh, but it... Okay, hang on. No, it's not gonna work. Oh god. So do we have to use that one to block the path of the other one and keep it out so we can go in and drop the second jammer inside the room? But then do we still have to go back out and grab the first jammer? I don't know. We'll come back to it. We've tried all these other ones, right? Just doors and windows. Oh, is this that really long room that I tried to draw a map of? Can we go through these? No. Hey Michelle, welcome in. How's it going? Is there any kind of elevation in here? Is there anything up top? No. There's our sigil. There's a ladder. I don't have line of sight of either of those. Okay. So we can close that. Oh, I guess that doesn't matter. Well, we can leave that connected. Now you. Oh, but there's not going to be line of sight for what we need here. Oh. It's not going to be line of sight for anything that I need. Windows, doors and windows, okay. Can you connect? Can you use these as a source? No. Just reflect it from right here. Reflect the light over there. See? I guess we could just do the normal thing. Oh, but the beams can't cross. That's really unfortunate. Windows. I was amused by the idea of these exploding ball bots also being happy for the player. They don't seem happy for me. It's back here. Weird. That one needs to stay open. And that one needs to guide the light to this other one so it can stay open. Oh, we never got this? Why? Why didn't we ever do that? Is it audio warping for anyone else? Joseph, do you have low latency settings turned on in your Twitch player in the video options? A lot of times if you have that turned on, it will decrease delays, but it can warp the audio, which is frustrating. I've run into that issue before. Was I supposed to leave that open and then climb out? No, I don't think you can use that room for anything. It doesn't have any windows. Windows and doors. Hi Landar, welcome in. How's it going? That was the problem? Okay, I'm glad that fixed it. It doesn't always, but for me, most of the time that's what is causing my issues. So I'm glad it worked. There's not a second dial here? No. Oh. It's cool that you can see that connector from all the way back here. Except that's not where I'm trying to go. Thoroughly confused now. More noticeably, when the feature was first introduced, the audio warping was the playback speed being slightly increased to catch up. Right, so if you turn off low latency, you might not be like right at the exact moment that I'm playing the game, like the lowest possible delay, but it does get rid of the warping. And then I will sometimes, if I like really want to be to the minute of the stream, I'll just pause and play again, and then it catches up. Why is this window here? For this purpose? Oh, fun. I didn't get it quite far enough back. Nope, that still worked. Yay! Sigil. And that goes towards the fan. We only need one more for the fan. Hooray! Whose was this? Hey, it's Bush. Am I going crazy, or do the computer terminals have a personality? This is the last one we need for the fan. Crisscross Conundrum. Oh, I see. Different colored lasers. And right now, just the red receiver. I rather enjoyed this game's approach to multiplayer. Yeah, I like it. Hi Uber, welcome in. Saw you in my recommended. I thought I'd check out your stream. Just the fact that this game is puzzle oriented entices me. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. It's very puzzly. It's breaking my brain continuously, but the unique thing about Talos Principle for me so far is the little stories you get to read in between. Most of the brain-breaking puzzle games I know don't have interjections like that. So if I do this, what is this? Does this give us another connector? Yeah, okay. Oh. Interesting. But what if I just come back out here? This is where the crisscross is, right? Yeah. Now we're back at the beginning. No, we're not. This is the last connector. I saw one spot with elevation. Yeah, it's this. Okay. Can't we just... Oops, what did I do wrong? Oh no, because this door... That's not enough elevation for you? Something kind of fun about such a light but present amount of presence of one's friends, yeah. They're few and far between. Only other puzzle game that also has a story to it, which I've truly loved, was Portal 2. First Portal was okay, but the sequel was epic. The sequel has the story bit for sure. Oh, I see, because this one needs to be elevated. Wait, can we see the blue from up here? No. What if I just move you? That's still in the way. Yeah, but a different type of in the way. Can I stack these on top of each other? Where's our other one? Maybe this is a red herring. Oops. Plus I loved all the Half-Life references that were made in Portal 2. Hi Macchiato, welcome in. Thank you. The Myst games and Abduction have decent stories. Myst has a good story, yeah. What if we... Oh, I left a connector behind? What was I thinking? Thank you for the follow. Thanks for supporting a fellow human. I appreciate it. Oh no, I've really messed this up. Excuse me. Pardon me. So many connectors. Yeah, I feel like Outer Wilds is a story that happens to include puzzles. It's still a puzzle game. It's a mystery game. It's wonderful. We have so many connectors. Do we have to go... I keep thinking there's a way to go backwards. There's not. There's only one entrance for me to go through. What if we go around this way? And use all of the connectors to make this connect around the back of these pillars. Oops, all connectors. Maybe that's it. I don't know. We've got so many, we might as well try. Ooh, I can get it from here. Oh, but I still need to keep going. My favorite mist is the fourth one. So many mists. I had no idea there were that many. Oh, why did I do... So now this... Okay. What's the thing that we learned last time where it doesn't break the connection? Except I think I do want it to break the connection. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. We're redoing these. Outer Wilds is the best. I've been starting every stream, like the countdown stream starting soon with Timber Hearth music. It just puts me in the right mood. Are we all out of connectors now? I thought I would have one to spare. This is amazing. Nope, none left. Right click when I pick it up. Okay. Oh, fun. Yeah, I can't get to that, so I don't think this will help us. So close. But not really. Where's the orange? There it is. Weird. I think I tried this. You can't do... Yeah. So pretty! Just checked out Outer Wilds on Steam and it definitely looks interesting. Oh my gosh. It goes on sale quite often. Please play it. We're huge fans here on this channel. I love it so much. If we did anything for you by finding us today, let it be that we introduce you to Outer Wilds. Amazing. This is so funny that none of these have line of sight with the others. This was yet another red herring. Sincerely, Talos Principle. Okay, well now what? What if we... Oh god. Incorporate... this into the reds. Can we do that? The red laser? How does that help me? I don't think it does. Oh, what the heck? It keeps placing it not where I'm anticipating it to place it. Weird. It's probably likely to go on sale at the end of the month when they have the next Annapurna showcase. That makes sense. It was just half off on the summer sale. I feel bad because it was just on sale. How did I do this before? Do I have all my connectors back? There should be 3 over here. Yeah. Oops. What was this one called again? Why don't they keep the level name somewhere where I can see it? I feel like the level names are clues. Can I see another connector from here? Can I jump on top of the connectors? No. What about this one? Is that tall enough? That's tall enough? Oh, that's so silly. Boo. Oh well. I'll take it. Let's go get a new mechanic. Do you want to talk to me? You do! Milton Library Assistant. Support session opened. Hello again. Would you like to take a few moments to complete a short user satisfaction survey regarding the certification program you recently undertook? Yes. Based on analysis of your behavior since I think you were dissatisfied with the results of the certification program, how would you rate the accuracy of the results out of 5? Very poor, very good, reasonable, spoil the survey? What does that mean? Will it know that I'm human if I spoil the survey? Because I'm messing with things and not following the rules? Listen to me, help me. I'm a cry for help. I'm sorry that response makes no sense. What best describes the reason for your investment in the certification program's outcome? Why does being a person matter to you? I want network access. Persons matter in ways other things don't. Wait, we're having a conversation now? It's the truth? I want to find out if I am one. Terminate MLA. This is the best part. I mean, ultimately, I just want network access. But if I'm trying to answer this question honestly, it's interesting too to think about, am I answering these based off of me, Jen the human, or my character who's like, am I a human? I don't know. My hands look like robots. I just want to pick all my favorite answers and not logical answers. I'll try to remember that. In fact, I'm going to help you. That is what I'm here for. Thanks for helping me. Your problem, if I may, is that you don't know the first thing about anything, including what a person is. Your prospects are therefore poor. Do you even know where you are? A virtual reality theme park? A fever dream? Some mad experiment? The end of the world? Hell? Could be anywhere. Answer from the heart, yeah. I don't think it's a theme park. I do think it's some kind of virtual reality. I think we could be anywhere hooked up to a VR. You're quite right. Honest, too. I think we'd best start from scratch. What do you know? I know none of this is real. I know I exist. I know 2 + 2 = 4. I know you exist. I know what century it is. I know I'm not on Earth. Honestly? I suppose so. Even if you were dreaming, you could be certain of that. If I were you, I wouldn't believe a darn thing in this place aside from that solitary fact. Thinking. On reflection, it seems to me that we are no closer to resolving your problem. Perhaps we need more data. What makes you think you're a person? I'm alive, I feel, I am conscious. The same thing that makes you think you are. Do you think you are too? I'm having this conversation with you. I don't see how I can convince you. In this environment, in this economy, I don't know how I can convince you. That's my favorite answer here. That one and the first one. A sensible response. I agree with you. Thinking. The problem with people, if I may be so bold, is that you're all convinced you're people from the inside, but there's no cast iron way to confirm as much from the outside. I'm going to process this and send you a notification when I'm able to assist you further. Terminating support session, resuming library archive session. That was fun. I enjoyed that. We've got Osiris 11, reprogress, choice of life. But why, the dying man said, do the gods put all these challenges before us? Why the walls of iron and the gates of light? Why the abominable demons guarding the path? Why must our heart be judged to be as light as a feather of Ma'at? Why is the road to Aru so difficult? The scribe considered these words. Some say that once the paths to Aru were open, but too many sinners came, and the gods made the paths perilous to keep sin at bay. Others say that being mortals, we cannot be worthy of Aru unless we walk the path of Osiris. Excuse me. And so become Osiris ourselves. But I believe that Aru could never be reached elsewise, for like the mountain path must be steep, the path to Aru must be fraught with peril. As steepness and mountain are one, so are peril and paradise. They are inextricable, they create each other. There's an interesting parallel to this phrase in the penitential psalms. Here the scribe appears to be speaking of Osiris, the meaning the soul of the deceased, not the god himself. And then a bunch of scramble. From Aurora Calvin to Ian mailing list. Subject, progress report 16. I want to do something really quick. Okay, cool. This is extremely worrying. If the link doesn't work, the whole project will lead to nothing. The hardware team must recheck everything ASAP. Guys. Stop panicking. Look at your code again. In fact, look at line number 217 in data transfer. What are those two symbols just before the code? // That's right. The code that actually initiates the transfer wasn't even running. I'm guessing you were testing something yesterday and forgot to decommentify it. The hardware isn't broken, your brains are. Love, Aurora. And the last one is choice of life. The whole assembly stood a while silent and collected. Let us return, said Rasselas, from this scene of mortality. How gloomy would be these mansions of the dead to him who did not know that he should never die. That what now acts shall continue its agency, and what now thinks shall think on forever. Archive 1759 CE F991 Johnson Samuel Error 556. Homage to you, Osiris, Lord of eternity, King of the gods, whose names are manifold, whose forms are holy, you being of hidden form in the temples, whose Ka is holy. All the gods praise you, for you are the symbol. I have some of these written down. I haven't been seeing repeats, though. Oh, this one was close. Those that lie here stretch before us, the wise and the powerful of ancient times, warn us to remember the shortness of our present state. They were perhaps snatched away while they were busy, like us, in the choice of life. Okay. Good. Progress. New text added to journal. Let's go. We can do some new puzzles now. What's this gonna be like? Oops. Oh, these are facing... Okay. Can I do this in reverse then? No. Wait, this one works. I keep messing up. But this one doesn't. Are we allowed to ask about your current working theories on the story so far? Sure, yeah. We are... Oh my god, that's so loud. Hold on, I can theorize after I get this fan. Because I think Elohim is going to talk to us. Maybe, maybe not. We just have it now. Okay. At some point, they made a giant supercomputer and they filled it with all of the records of everything. And they were running tests. And I don't know.
I have promised you eternal life. But know that eternity may only be attained by those who serve a purpose greater than themselves. All else is decay.
Okay.
So it was written in the hidden words before the beginning of time.
The hidden words before the beginning of time. And now we're a bot that's being put through these tests to see if the supercomputer works, or it's one of those things where the supercomputer was abandoned and it's been like running and running and running forever, and we're stuck in it.
The people here?
Hi, Llama.
Don't worry, you're gonna fit right in.
You're gonna fit right in. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. How was your stream? You were kicking butt earlier when I was in there. Hi, Nurk. Hi, Ginger. Welcome in. If you don't know me, I'm Jen the Human. We're playing the Talos Principle, where we're trying to figure out if we're a human or if we're a bot. It's testing me. Happy time zone, everybody. Thanks again. Everyone go follow Llama. Really interesting hearing your theories. Yeah, it's wild. I don't have tons. I feel like we're a bot. We're a test subject, but the test is to determine, like, what's the point where AI gets consciousness? What's that called? It has a name. So, like, eventually they'll crank enough bots through the simulation and one of them will gain consciousness. Thank you for using your channel points to contribute to the Elden Ring stream challenge. I appreciate it. I am working on a pacifist playthrough. We kicked a lot of butt, and after you left we got even more lore. Heck yes. I love the lore. Turing test. Passing the Turing test or gaining sentience. The singularity, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Hey Jaeger, welcome in. The latter not being the only condition, but one particular concept for a dividing line. Okay. Tal, thank you for using your channel points as well for the Elden Ring stream. We are the singularity. And then the Talos aspect is I should read that one again. Right? Talos Principle. Daedalus constructed the giant Talos, or as others say, he was the creation of Hephaestus. What we may be certain of is that he was made of bronze and had but one vein which flowed a liquid substance like blood, which some claim was quicksilver and others assert was ichor, such as flows in the veins of the gods. The loss of that liquid caused him to die, as a man dies when he loses his blood. May we not say that Talos, though created as a machine or a toy, had all the essential properties of a man? He moved of his own volition, he spoke and could be spoken to, had wishes and desires. So it's like constant questions of creating something that has this physical aspect, this physical aspect, this physical aspect, this intellectual aspect. If it has all those things separately, what's the turning point? That's like a lot of what the texts in the game are asking us, or talking about, referring to. So many channel points. Thanks, everybody. Elden Ring, I'm excited for Talos Principle. It's good. It's really good. I'm super stuck on a lot of the puzzles, but it's still really good. We're gonna go try this one with the fans. This one. If those of you coming in don't know Talos Principle, there's all these little... Every time we enter a purple door, it's a separate room of its own that's a puzzle room. This is called Man on the Moon, and I'm trying to get the Tetris piece at the end. All the Tetris pieces are what we're going for, and they call them sigils in this game, which I don't understand why yet. Thank you for thanking the mods. I appreciate it. And they appreciate it too. Thank you, mods. Make the stream possible. It's my bedtime, sadly, but it's been so nice to hang out. I hope you have lots more discovery. Thank you, Tal. I appreciate it. Have a good sleep. We'll see you around. Uber, thanks for using your channel points too. Alright, so here is our first... fan. Oh. Wee! Wee! Okay. So I can get over there. Do I need to carry this with me and drop it on that other plate? Yeah, that's it. I found infinite happiness. I like the fans. We got a sigil.
Thank you for
oh my gosh.
Tier 3. Sincerely, me and Charlie.
Bush, hi, welcome in. How's it going? Thank you for the tier 3 sub. I appreciate it. We've got new alerts. Puzzles. Enjoy your Charlie emote, your bow tie. Earth badge. It's good to see you. We saw one of your messages in this game earlier. I tried to introduce it before rating with something like, it's a puzzle game, but also sometimes weirdly self-aware and brings up a lot of cool philosophies. That's perfect. Thanks for giving a description of the game. For plugging our puzzle game here. The vocals, it's a little loud, but I have special alerts of me embarrassing myself and singing for tier 2 and tier 3. Alright, we can climb back over. Hey fishies, welcome in. How's it going? Thanks for the hello. It's a puzzle game except when it's not. We just had our first one. Cabbage got the first alert yesterday. And I don't think we've heard the tier 2 one yet. Here's Boba. Hi, Boba. One of my messages, it's been a long time since I played. They have Steam Friends integration, exactly. So Quasi Boba's on my friends list, and we've been seeing their messages. We've been seeing a couple of Michelle's, one of Borschi's. Who else did we see? Hi, Gold Saucer, welcome in. It's hot here, so it's going sweatily. Oh no. I hope you're able to stay cool. Find a way to get cool. Are there more in this room that have the fan, or is that the only one? This one. Oh, it has connectors, cubes, and fans. Let's go. Moonshot. Oh, I came in here and it was yelling at me because I didn't have the fan mechanic yet. I'll leave you where you are for now. Wait, can I lift you into the air if I do this? I love it. Excuse me, pardon me. This is my fave. Nope, go on top of this. Oh, but I need to reconnect it. Dang it. I can't even see. I need to find another cube to keep this down. All the mechanics. So many toys to play with. As long as there's no orbs, I'm happy. Oh, here it is. Beautiful. We're well on our way to the play button. That's my favorite so far, is the fan. I think everything else here, I got stuck. So we'll come back to this. There's Borschi's message. There's me. Oh yeah, this was one of the last ones we did yesterday. There's Michelle. I was saying I hadn't seen this one as an option yet in my drop down. That's a good one. Do you want to talk to me again? No. Bummer. One, two, three has so many fans. It me, yeah. It you. But first, computer. 47 million distributed resources found. This time we can read Progress Report 9, Osiris 3, and Just War excerpt. The years on these, too, the dates are really interesting. Let's read the progress report. From Bob Rakovsky. Nomadics, IED Nomadics. I don't know what this is. The symbol. To Ian mailing list. The basic skeleton of the simulation is now running on EL. It's not plugged into the AI system yet, but in theory, everything is ready. I guess the next step is to test whether the generated scenarios make sense? Or do we wait for the iteration module to... And then it cuts out. Next, Osiris 3. The first wisdom the scribe said to the dying man is that as the world is made of 5 elements, so is the soul of man. Know therefore that in this life you are heart and shadow and name, and also Ka and Ba. Without all these, you would not be a living being but a thing. What is a man without a name who cannot speak of himself? What is a man without a shadow who is not anchored to the world? What is a man without a heart who can neither feel nor think? What is a man without a Ka who has no essence? What is a man without a ba who is not himself but like unformed clay? Therefore praise Osiris, the king of eternity, the lord of everlastingness, the eldest son of the womb of Nut, he who traverses millions of years in his existence. Nut? The Enrichment Center reminds you that the weighted companion cube will never threaten to stab you and, in fact, cannot speak. It's perfect, llama. The cubes are our friends. Here the translator is clearly inserting his own beliefs onto the text as da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Just War. This is supposedly from 2009. Democrates? Altar or on the Just Causes for War Against the Indians by Juan Gines de Sepulveda, written in 1547 to justify the Spanish conquest of the Americas. The Spanish have a perfect right to rule these barbarians of the New World, who in humanity are as inferior to the Spanish as children are to adults, or women are to men, or there exists between the two as great a difference as I might even say apes and men. No, no, no. Compare then these gifts with those possessed by these half-men, in whom you will barely find the vestiges of humanity, who not only do not possess any learning at all, but are not even literate and eat human flesh. Major Grimace! Ah, I hate it. Therefore, if you wish to reduce them, I do not say to our domination, but to a servitude a little less harsh, it will not be difficult for them to change their masters. Gross. Llama, thank you for the lurk. Thanks for the raid again. You gotta do the post-stream stuff. Decompress. Relax. It's good having you here. We'll see you around. This was... So it's interesting to get this text, because earlier they were saying we need to reevaluate whales and other beings, and now this one is like the opposite of that, saying, oh, the difference between these two types of people are human and apes. Like, no. Present for a purpose, but hard to stomach. And the context of everything being like, oh, well, bots and humans aren't so different. How do we determine? This is like... I don't know. Showing how absurd it was in the past when we assumed, oh, these two types of people are so different. No, that's gross to think like that a race is inferior. It's terrible. So is that how we're gonna feel about bots and humans in the future? Pretty deep stuff. Hi, Oracle. Thank you for contributing to the Elden Ring stream challenge. I appreciate it. I think I set it for... Did I set it for 25k? Oh, sorry. No, more than that. We're at 31%. Okay, let's get out of here. 75k. Yeah, that sounds right. We're almost a third of the way there. Look at this wind, this sandstorm. Let's find a paint bucket. Ooh. Hello. I gotta go see something. Lurking again, spoilers. Enjoy the lurk, thank you. This one doesn't have that blue lightning bolt terminal. But this one does. Why? Body and soul. Soma. Adam, welcome in. Thanks for using your channel points. But it is commonly supposed that the Egyptians believed the soul to live as long as the body continued undissolved, and therefore tried this method of eluding death. Could the wise Egyptians, said Nakaya, think so grossly of the soul? If the soul could once survive its separation, what could it afterwards receive or suffer from the body? The Egyptians would doubtless think erroneously, said the astronomer, in the darkness of heathenism and the first dawn of philosophy. The nature of the soul is still disputed amidst all our opportunities of clearer knowledge. Some yet say that it may be material who, nevertheless, believe it to be immortal. And a string of numbers. So many number strings. I don't understand. I should make a note of which ones have a giant paragraph of numbers at the end. Bush, thanks for using your channel points. Happy Monday, Adam. How are you? This one is Body and Soul. Text paragraphs. Can I see... Okay, let's read Soma and then I'll look at my personal journal. From Sun Wei Yang to Arkady... I can never say this. Chernyshevsky. Subject, names. Names are a funny thing. I remember how much we struggled to come up with a name for our project. All serious scientists name their projects by just translating them to Greek or Latin, right? Corpus made me think of some horrible disease, so we used the Greek word instead. Soma. Quite appropriate. But then, since we needed corporate funding, we had to come up with a backronym. Corporations love backronyms, you know? They even sent us a list of buzzword-heavy suggestions to help us get started. Stuff like self-sufficient, orthostatic, modular, android. Soma. Sustainable, observant, mechanized, anthropoid. Soma. Skeuomorphic, omni-adaptable, mobile anthropometon. Soma. After a while, we got so frustrated that we started getting silly. Sabertooth overexcited murder android. Sentient orthopedic monkey automaton. Strange Olga's menacing assassinbot. Superb octopod marinades apelings. Satisfying overcooked mint alligator. Stinky ornithological mule allocator. Skroink oof minky ack. Stupid obscure meaningless acronym. Hey, I like that one. These are funny. In the end, we all ended up hating the name Soma because we had so many fights about it with the sponsors. So when Alexander told the story about Talos Principle, caught on. I don't know whether it really fits, but I like it. Turn Tuesday, fair, happy time zone. Tuesday on your end of the world, yep. I'm well, trying to cope with the heat. We're not used to it here. So many friends having heat struggles today. I feel for you. Everybody's in a heat wave, it seems. Superb octopod. Which is your favorite? Tag yourself, I'm mint alligator. Like, what? These are so funny. I'm gonna take a quick water break while we bask in this list of acronyms. Sorry, backronyms. Stretching is important. My posture is not great. Getting up in the middle of stream to dance, always good. Ugh. Let's do this. I was going to... Oh yeah, we were basking in the acronyms. I was gonna look at my journal. So when I look at this list, I can see Soma and Body and Soul like listed out. So as long as I include the title, then I know which one it is that I'm talking about. But to go back through all of these and find the paragraphs of numbers, how long does that take? Wait, I didn't even scroll all the way down. Athena analysis. This has one. Athena analysis. I feel the same way. I don't have dance, but I have a squats one. Like, I don't usually use them in other people's channels, I don't think. But as a streamer, I'm like, well, I need to like do something and get up and move and keep the blood flow going. Like, I have to set a good example for my fellow chronically online peers. This has one. What was this one called? Team leads? Progress report 1 has a little bit. I should use them. I have enough to buy a small house. You got a lot of channel points. You hoarding them. They're good for the challenges. They're good for betting, like the channel point predictions. They're good for... I used to have... Oh, the hoodie one we used to have. I had a couple of really large channel point redemptions for a while, and I took them away. Oh, and back when we did the music stream one, that was a channel point challenge. That was like if we got to 100,000 or something for the first time when I first started streaming, before all of you were hoarding 1 million channel points. I feel like Meggie has like 200 or 300,000 or something like that. Mom, hi, welcome in. How's it going? Happy Monday. Mail error is the next one. Oh, this has tons of strings of numbers. Mail error. Beginnings also has it. Nervously looks at 85k. That's so many. Maggie might be one of the few who have more than me. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, keep them. Do what you want with them. Flex them. Chatbots doesn't have a string. Simple Principle has a little bit. This is pretty quick. Arcady, post comments, classical philosophers, progress report 3. I won like 240,000 points during a prediction in another stream. Was it Higgums? That's so many. Or you're just using that emote. That emote's adorable. I'm sure Mom the Human has probably like 500,000. I don't think she's ever used any. She's got us all beat on channel points. I lost my place. Report 3. Okay, Athena 9. Singularity discussion. AMA. Osiris. Lyrics. I remember this song. I loved that. Immortality. Mutation. Capacity. Evolution. Like, a lot of these do have some numbers in the middle, but that's not what this list is for. Science magic. Weight loss. Arcady. Progress report 9. Osiris 3. Just War. Body and Soul, which I wrote down already. Soma. Does not have a string of numbers. Osiris 11. Progress report 16. Choice of life. We're almost there. Athena 12 does have some. I was just using the emote. I think I bet like 12 or 15k. Wow. I bet like 2.5k and 140 because I played the spread. Yep. Mm-hmm. This has some Oxyrhynchus. Book of Osiris. The dance break is such a contrast to this game. Like, if anybody came in the middle of us jamming out and then it's like, alright, back to reading my ancient Egyptian texts. Let's go. I love it. This area, this arena is massive. Where are the puzzles? Where's the paint bucket? Where's the QR codes? I don't know. Here's a puzzle. No clues in here. Sunshot. We did moonshot already. Here's our cubes. Here's our fans. We're gonna send it over. Whee! We're gonna send both of them over. Then we're gonna climb over. Oh, but now we can only send one over. And then I can go over. Okay, that's all we needed to do. Easy. We only need one more for the play button. Do you all have favorite channel point redemptions? I like the ones where you can dump all your points and just be like, yep, look how many I have. I can spare 7,000. Here you go. This is the one this is the one I need down here. I like, some people have the, like, free sub if you get 50,000 points or something like that. I've used it a couple times, although I do feel bad using it like more than once. You know what I mean? But it's a good idea. I like the hello ones too, like just saying hi, or the ones people have where you can say I hosted if they don't have host alerts set up. Here, let's read these. Theory: this place is some kind of preserve for human history and we're the endangered species. Theory: trying to find answers will only bring pain. Ceasing to care is the only escape. Theory: this guy's 10 times more help than you, Samsara, so shut your face, from Sam. Theory: we're in some kind of incubator waiting to be hatched. Theory: if you knew how little you know, you wouldn't be exposing it here. Oh. I love silly redeems, pet spotlights, and be annoying buttons. Be annoying buttons like the sound effects. I like when it's a free gift sub, like a random person, not to the redeemer. Oh, I actually hadn't thought of that. I haven't seen that. That's a good idea. I like this one. Thank you, Adam, for redeeming human kindness. Sending human kindness from me to you, to all of chat. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being you. Thanks for keeping me company while I puzzle through this. And I'm so glad to know you. I'm so glad you're a part of the community. I appreciate it. I like human kindness, also things that engage like dance and full yeehaw is good. Mm-hmm. Magus redeem get good for 1,000. Looks like they're theory crafting too, they are. I've enjoyed redemptions for recommending games, not when they're a guarantee, but to add a bit more thought to them. Dex has that spreadsheet and has channel points for adding to the spreadsheet is cheaper, but it goes at the bottom. And then I think if you have a ton of channel points, you can bump your game to the top of the list. They have a whole system. Know you, Michelle. Thank you. No guarantee of anything recommended being played. Yeah, that's always the case. And like, if people suggest troll games, that makes it kind of hard too. Here's our paint bucket. I thought I saw another message further down here. No? Let's add ours to this string. I have no idea what's going on. The tools to overcome the place has been provided. I've traveled to the edge of the known world. Elohim lied about the tower. You'll be needing a special device. It feels as I've been struggling for days. This is without a doubt the hardest problem. Am I going crazy or do the computer terminals have a personality? I like this one. Make a redemption to lower or remove games from the list. Really spice things up. Sorting them via points. I think there's other ways that they allow games to be added to the list, but one of the ways to shake it up is with channel points. Oh, hi, who's this? Michelle. I have now traveled this land extensively, and I can say without hesitation that this is the most beautiful spot. This corner, right here, this is our special spot. Hey Summer, welcome in. What's this game about? Those QR codes gave me a bit of Outer Wilds vibes. This game is about... We are a being trapped in this world. Anytime I use a terminal, you see your hands and they look like robot hands. There's a voice that talks to us that tells us to collect these puzzle pieces. And we solve puzzles. It's kind of a mystery, figuring out why we're here, who we are, what this place is. I love the paint message. I put it at the foot of a statue in one of the Egypt worlds. Nice. I like that. Appreciating the art. Okay, so we've got a connector. This is keeping the door open. I'm assuming there's a receiver on this side as well to keep it open? No. Okay, what's back here? A star? Oh dang. Do I have to launch myself over the wall? Is it that red one that opens a secret door? Maybe. I haven't even seen a red light source yet. What's going on over there? Interesting. I feel like we need the level next door. Also, Daniel has the Masterpiece Games list, where you add a game to the list, and a few times a year he has a full tournament bracket with all the games since last time, pitching them against each other, and has a chat vote on which wins. Then during the stream he spins a wheel every hour with the participants where winner gets to pick. That's cool. That's a whole event. Hi Berto, welcome in. Have you heard of the Witness parody game? Yes. We played it the other night. It's so good. It's so funny. I figured it out. Now what? From dog? The only meaningful purpose is to bring about an end of purpose from the shepherd. I haven't watched Cracking the Cryptic play it yet. That was yesterday and we were streaming, so I have to get caught up. Anytime I hear red and blue, I'm reminded about an old ad for John Hancock Weather Beacon. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue, and if you know what to look for, it will tell you what the weather's going to do. That's a very specific soundbite. I just heard about it. Oh man, I'll have to check the VOD. Sorry, I didn't stream it. Semi and I played it off stream for the laughs. It's really rather short, and I wanted to just enjoy the meme of it and play it casually. But Cracking the Cryptic, yeah, go check out that VOD. Oh, sneaky. I keep missing the names of these areas. Whee! Okay, let me see this again. Big event they just did this weekend. Very cool. A parody made by someone who clearly loved The Witness, even though they're poking fun at it. This one is called Whoosh. Can I remove... Whoa. I cannot remove fans from there. But these are powered on. Weird. Can I take this? Yeah. Whee! Oh, but that's not what I want. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Can I get past this? Yeah. And then this would push us out of here unless I take the fan. Okay, we've got 2 fans and 2 blocks to play with. It looks like. Yep. Okay. And there's a connector up there. Do I have to... And a connector up there. Can I just... like, jump on top and grab some of these things? 2 fans, 2 blocks, and a dream. Oh, it's 2 O's and then 2 more O's, llama. 4 total. Yoo-hoo! Oh, and this interrupts the process. There you go. That's a good one. So if I'm up here, it means that this laser isn't going to the connector. That red one. To that connector. Oh, so it's turning off this fan. Okay. Cool. Okay. That didn't work. What am I supposed to be doing? I don't think I even know where the sigil is. I'm just collecting fans. I even typed it in chat, then corrected it. Oh no! It's all good. We're always happy to help. Hawkeye, welcome in. How's it going? Thanks for the hello. What if I put this fan here and I jump up, but the block doesn't stick out far enough to get in the way? Huh. Whee! Am I supposed to go back through that corner? What happens if... Yeah, that's the only place I don't know how to get to. How do I turn off this blue laser? I don't understand. Hawkeye, how's it going? How are you? I'm trying to solve this puzzle. But I get a little bit distracted. These fans are powered on. I don't know what that purpose is. What if we put 2 blocks on top of each other? That's not gonna work. I don't think there's anything I can do. Up and over. Been better. This is a welcome distraction. I feel that. I hope it helps. Wait, what is this ladder? How would we get stuck in there? Okay. Have I not just done this yet? Yeah, it doesn't block. Oh, I see. We do need the 2. Okay, okay, okay. Because that'll go under the other one, probably. And then it'll block it? No, I think it's still farther to the right. Yeah, it's all the way over here. This is the solution. Does the red laser matter? It doesn't hurt me, if that's what you mean. The lasers are not lethal. I have no idea what to do here, though. We can keep the red permanently blocked, but all that does is turn off this. I can't jump here, right? We already tried this. Let me in. It doesn't matter, it's just the same spot that we can walk to. What about this? Oh, there is stuff over there. There's a ladder. Wait, it's here-ish. No. Let me over. Weird. And we tried this one too. I don't understand. This one wasn't even an orange-red level. This is just a yellow. These buzzing noises are irritating, though. What good are robot arms if you can't mantle a wall, right? No good at all. What does this do? This is the same as turning off that one. Oh, there's a cube over there, too? This makes no sense. Where's my companion cube? Is anything low enough for me to jump on top? Come on! Okay, that doesn't seem relevant there. What about this one? Let me in! Let me in! Ha! Best solution is to leave and get ice cream. I think so. I don't think I have any ice cream. I have cookies. Should I do that instead? Why is there stuff over there? Can I, like, drop a fan over the side and then I lose it forever? No, you can't drop it midair. It doesn't work like that. To get a horse, yeah. Cookies would work as well. My brain cannot fathom how to make this work. Sheer force of will. Didn't we already try stacking these, though? What if we use the fans and the cubes? What then? gonna take the last one in the stack and then it's gonna push them all back? Yeah. Aha. We're right where we started. Trav, hi, welcome in. How's it going? Thanks for the hello. I've reached a new level of distracted this day. You know, the whole almost poured the wrong liquid in my cereal. Yeah, I've been there. Thanks for using your channel points, Trav. Almost poured chocolate snacks in my water glass. Oh no. Whoopsie. We're struggling. Alright, I give up. Was this the last one we needed too? No, but I thought if we solved this one, we could get to the one next to it, but it didn't work. Let's try this one. Any more messages in here? Nope. Eagle's nest. Yeah, that sounds like we need it for the puzzle next door, right? Bird's eye view. Here, have this. Don't even have a bowl out for the chocolate. Oopsies. Where was that receiver? It was making the noise. Where is that coming from? I don't understand. Oh, because it blocks this. It cuts that off and then it reconnects. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted to do. If you put it down and then you run out, you have to climb this wall and then you can go here. Sneaky. But why are there two cubes? Oh, I wonder if I can drop one mid-air. Does that help us? I don't think so. If we put two on top of each other, it's still not tall enough to block the thing, but maybe if I stand on two on top of each other? And that'll give me enough time to run to the thing? Yeah. Yeah. Oops, I went to the wrong side. Ooh, that is loud. Can I take this? Ha! I don't think I need this. Oh, it doesn't let me drop that on there. Whee! Alright, so we got one, and I don't think this was connected to the one next door. Because we still don't have any connectors. What if... No, that wouldn't work. I was thinking, what if you had a connector and you ran from one puzzle room to connect the laser, ran over to the other one to connect the receiver, but you can't, like, have the connector in your hand between puzzle rooms, so you don't have the UI that, like, lets you select the different targets. If that makes sense. We're making progress, hopefully. Next on the agenda. Oh, is it these? These signposts are interesting. Any new messages from our computer friend? No. And what's this one? We did this one already. All fine, thanks. Best wishes of a great night to humans and felines around. Appreciate it. Same to you. It honestly did not feel like a Monday for me, and for that I am grateful. It's been a pretty solid day. This one's called Blown Away. We're gonna take another look at this. Oh, right. Duh. And that turns this on. Yay, a brain cell! Oh, goodness. Oh, we got enough to get the next mechanic. But I want the star. This turns on the fan. Are there any other receivers I need to use? I don't think there's any other receivers here. Unlocked YouTube! We finally unlocked the play button! Okay, that was a confidence boost. Interesting though, I cannot grab this cube. It'll shut all the doors and lock me out. Or will it? It'll keep the fan blowing though. What good is the fan? Oh, right, and we've got this sneaky little sneak over here. I don't see any red laser sources. Oh, there's one. Sneaky indeed. don't think this is tall enough. No. Interesting. I'm excited to play with the play button. I kind of want to... I always want the solution to just be jump on top of the thing. If we go in there, we can't get back out. If we go over the top, unless this opens up a secret part of the wall. Is there another perspective from which I can see that thing? Where I don't have to be up so high? Oh. Can I see it through here? Oh, barely. Oh, come on. It shouldn't let you select it if you can't make it work. No fair. Hi, Bren. Welcome in. Also, eyes covered. I saw Braid on your backlog. Yes. It's been on my backlog for so long. Especially after playing the Looker, I'm like, man, I really need to play Braid. And it's short. I forgot how short it is. Semi just finished it and I was like, oh yeah, I need to double back for Braid. I wonder, so what puzzle is that over there? I don't know. What if I open that one? Is that wall shorter than that fence? Could be. It's possible. But I don't think I can get... No, I can. Is this only open by the weighted plate? Yeah. Okay, hang on. Yeah, I thought it was a funny image too. Bren, thank you for using channel points for the Elden Ring stream. Now that this cube is over here, I think it's stuck over here. I want to put the cube over here and stand on top of it and see what I can see. Silly star. What if we do this? I still don't think this is tall enough. No. Alright, fine. Let's go check out the play button. Abandoning stars all over the place. This one doesn't even have it labeled. That's no good. I thought that they were labeled. Is it labeled on... Beeps and boops. Wait, I'll be right back. I need to check something. I'm so sorry. Okay, this is area 3. It's labeled on here, right? Yep. But it's not next to this one. It's kind of weird, right? Area 3 of the death room. Star in here. What's this one called again? Beep boop. Boop boop. This one is called Blown Away. Alright, I made a note of it in case that comes up later. But it's labeled as being in... that one. Wait, but is it on this? No.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Thank you for the follow. Thanks for supporting a fellow human. I appreciate it. Sad bloops. We have to talk to the computer. Initiating plain language interface. Session open. Thank you, Trav. Thank you for the bloops. Hello again. I've been checking your responses against library archives, and in order to assist you further, I need some additional information. Can you tell me what is to you the important difference between a pebble and a tree? A tree is heavier. A pebble is older. A tree is alive. Of the 3 choices given, choose your best answer. I feel like a tree is alive is the best answer. But I feel like they're trying to prove something to me by making that the answer that is... why is it the best? I feel like a tree being bigger is a big deal, but not necessarily heavier. I don't like it. Good. Now, what is the relevant difference between a tree and a frog? A frog is conscious. A frog is green. A frog is delicious. Is a tree not delicious? Like, what about an apple tree? I suppose a frog is conscious. Frogs are people too. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's try something harder. What's the difference between a frog and you? What makes you a person? I have feelings. I'm self-aware. I'm rational. Nothing important. Frogs are people too. That's the line. Of these, is there one answer aside from the frogs are people answer? I'm gonna say frogs are people too and follow my heart. Checking user.profile done. Well, it's not inconsistent with what you said earlier. How about we strike a deal? I'll agree that animals are every bit as valuable or pointless as human beings. You agree that there are some activities persons are capable of that frogs are not, because if frogs are people, then the certification program is radically unfit for purpose. I'll agree that animals are every bit as valuable or pointless as humans. You agree that there are some activities persons are capable of, I can't say that today, that frogs are not, because if frogs are people, then the certification program is radically unfit. Okay, agreed. I'm taking the deal. Very sensible. Terminology is so important. What I'd like to put to you is that the important difference between you and a frog is that you are rational. You are self-aware. That is what makes a person. Let us take stock. I think we can tentatively conclude 2 things. 1. A person must be rational or self-aware. 2. A person must be conscious. What I suggest we do to help you resolve your problem is ask whether you are in fact those things. Are you aware of yourself? Can you rationalize your existence? In this environment? No, but yes. But at the same time, no. They definitely should have one. Hey, check my username. It says I'm human. Yeah. What if frogs could be people? MLA must give out passwords to every frog. Alright, sure. I'll bite. I tend to agree with you, though your responses so far have been a little eccentric. I am resigned to admit that you are right. The matter of whether or not you are conscious seems rather more elusive. What is consciousness, in your opinion? Consciousness is what separates us from animals. Consciousness is what it is like to be me. Consciousness is feelings and senses. Consciousness is far outside my area of expertise. Which is my favorite. I don't like the first one. Silliness aside, I really enjoy the logic, philosophical train of thought in the game. Yeah, I do too. It's really cool. It gives us lots to chew on. I theoretically can, but please don't ask me to. I like consciousness is what it's like to be me. And I like consciousness as feelings and senses. Far outside of my area of expertise is like choosing not to play, even if I don't feel like I can appropriately define it. I like what it is like to be me because it's like waking up, knowing you're awake, remembering things that happen to you and having a continuous line of existence and like your self-history. Also an interesting exercise of self-knowledge. I don't know that this appropriately defines every bit of what I just described, but it's the best fit of these four. Feelings and senses is good too, though. I'm gonna click this one. That hardly answers the question. What is it in ordinary terms? Can I touch it? What is it made of? Consciousness is made of neurons. Consciousness is another word for the soul. Consciousness is beyond the laws of physics. Consciousness is a complex functional system. Sure. I don't think it's gonna like if I say it's another word for the soul. But that's my favorite. Otherwise, I like complex functional system. Like, this isn't answering the question. Neither is this. The only thing that says it's made of something is neurons. Or I guess this is answering the question. Oh, sorry, my Ko-fi handle is blocking these. I just realized that. We should hide that for this game. Where is it? Okay. I don't know, I'm just gonna follow my heart. Interesting. Thinking. You know, I really feel like we're making progress. We'll have you through the certification program in no time. In the meantime, I will mull over your proposal and notify you if I come to any conclusions. Alright. Bye. Since there's no better one like consciousness is a potato. Let's go play with the play button. There isn't one in here that has it, right? No, just fans and boxes. Nothing in this corner. This has so many play buttons. New tool. Beep boop. Osiris 6, Chatlug Charlie, Arcady Journal. Do I have this symbol written down somewhere? No. New page of notes. What was this one? Osiris 6. This is $, symbol. I don't know what this is called. And an ampersand. Asking to justify your existence is quite the exercise. Absolutely. All the play buttons. I can't wait. Not all arrangements of neurons are conscious, but at the present, all consciousnesses are an arrangement of neurons. The funky S thing is a symbol used for section. Thank you. I've seen it. I've never used it. Okay. Somebody knew it was the truth. Now I will tell you of the many perils you will face in your journey through the Duat. Listen well, for the challenges that lie before you are great, and if you do not prove yourself worthy, you may never reach the eternal reed fields of Osiris, and you may be lost forever. From the second death there is no awakening. The scribe brought forth a great papyrus and carefully unfolded it before the dying man. And the dying man beheld that it was a map of the Duat, showing the many paths that led to Tower of Anubis, where his heart was to be weighed. On each of the many paths, which threaded through the Duat like the infinite threads woven by Neith, there were marked the dangers that a traveler must face. Also there were great walls of iron that none but the gods could cross, and gates made of purest light, and so the traveler could not avoid the trials that had been decreed, and could only proceed towards the tower by proving his worth, thus earning the key to each sacred gate. Okay, so are we the dying man? Also, what is this? Who's Neith? Neith? It's got a footnote, but there's no footnote. And is Osiris Elohim? Or is this somebody separate? This is the scribe telling us about the tower, but we're forbidden from going to the tower by Elohim. So maybe these are separate things. But we're certainly going through trials and great walls and gates made of light. Interesting. Don't answer those. These are ponderings. Let's read Chatlog Charlie. Whoa. Man, you know what really freaks me out? This is Flower 4 and Charlie on the rocks talking to each other. What? The human body decomposes quite quickly, so all the information stored in chemicals in our brains will be gone really quickly. Dude. But computers and books last a long time. So all our messages, our ideas, our books, it'll all be out there. Our porn, even being transmitted through space. Yeah, our porn too, I guess. Will all be gone, but the works of Aristotle will still exist. So will Star Trek, Firefly, Babylon 5, Lord of the Rings, Blade Runner, Cyber something of Planetron 6, Shakespeare, Byron, hell, even video games! Overdrive 3, Seattle, Dutch, something, something, something. Dude, yeah, imagine if aliens find those. Don't Google those. Archive continues to grow, attempting to maintain a semblance of order as difficult as expected. Lost 7 people this week. Statistically speaking, trend should increase. Must focus on realistic goals. Too little time to grieve. Dang. So it is the end of the world. Which one was this? Arcady Journal 84. We're making a giant archive of all of human history and thoughts and works and literature and things. And a place to keep it that's apocalypse resistant, so that if we all die, our info is out there forever. And this simulation is what exists now that all the people are dead. I don't know. Reminder to all, make sure you have a friend who will delete your browser history if something happens to you. I got nothing to hide. Alright, we still haven't used the play button yet. Let's find one. Let's find an easy one. Those are all red, right? That one's red. They looked super orange to me the first day, but now they look red. Sounds like things were not peachy, yeah. Ooh, and a QR code. Who is it? Dog. Oh look, another puzzle. And another voice telling me I'm special. And another, oops, sorry. A broken down computer with fragments of nothing. This world is a bad joke perpetuated by a cruel god too dumb to hit off the switch. Hit the off switch. Self-help tutorial. Oh, I have to go fetch it. I have the pieces, but I didn't go fetch it. I forgot we gotta go to the little tower. Hello? Okay, this is always loud. I gotta solve it first. So jarring. No. Maybe this? This one, it looks like this one is a different color. Play button. So cool looking. What are you? We record actions? Is this the thing from Hourglass? It might be. I was wondering why you kept saying orange. It looked orange to me. There's a lot of low lighting. Although in the upper left-hand corner, it's very obviously red, but these ones look orange to me. It's like the dress. Okay. Now we can go play. Stay here. Stop. End. Hold X to reset. No. I don't want it to be this long. I just wanted to do a quick one. Okay, yeah. This is the thing from Hourglass. Hi. We saw one of these in the beginning by one of the time capsules. Look, I'm so clueless. Looking down at my feet. I'm gonna get stuck. Huh. The dress. It's interesting that you have to, like, stop and return to the same point. Hi, me. Like, I think in Hourglass there's a button that starts and stops the recording. Okay. I just want to hang out with myself. Hi. What is going on? I'm Jen. Hi. What is going on? I'm Jen. I wish you could make more than just one. Like that your clone could make a clone, and your clone's clone could make a clone, and your clone's clone's clone could make a clone. Let's go do another easy one. And look for QR codes on paint jars. Double plate. You could have a Gen party. The only company I need is my own. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, how long do I need to count for? That should be plenty. Oh, I have to stand on. Oh, I see. Okay, stop. Sorry, dude. This one first. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then switch. 3, 4, 5. I don't know, arbitrary numbers. Do I have to let myself back out? I'm assuming I'll be able to get out. Hi, thanks for the help. Thanks. My little self looking down at its feet. You gonna let me out? No, I should have trusted. I knew what I recorded. Bye. Is other Jen a person? They haven't asked me yet, but they probably will. What other symbols do I need? None of these for 1. A couple of these for C. Let's try this one. Yeah. See if I can handle it. Probably not. Redundant power supply. Okay. It has a hint section that I can't use. This opens this and gives us a cube. So let's go grab it. Oops. Oh, does this get transported back when I'm done? That was weird. These dang fans. Can I stand on top of these? No. Is other Gen made of matter or just 1s and 0s? It appears we also get pushed back by this fan. Redundant power supply. Oh, I think I know what's happening then. We're moonwalking. Skane, welcome in. How's it going? A clone cube that only exists in the recording. No, if you're just asking clarification questions, it doesn't appear that there's a clone cube. But to be honest, I don't know. I just got this recording or mechanic, so I'm gonna try to figure it out as I go. Witness my past mistakes, yeah. So this is what they're talking about when they're saying redundant power supply, because if I block this one, the other one stays. I think if I do this, maybe there'll be two, not sure. Or maybe it just moves around like during the recording. You know what I mean? Nope, there's only one. Oh, no, there's two. Okay. Yeah! Woohoo! That was the case, I think in Hourglass too, you could make clone cubes, but we hadn't got to do it yet. Early on in experimentation, yeah. And then I want to try one of these is needed for C. Let's try the one with connectors. Wait, am I going the wrong way? Yeah. This game is so cool. Mm-hmm. It's pretty special. I skipped over this one because I wanted to do the easy one first. Let's see if I can get it. Wrap around the corner. Who wrote this? Sheep. Some of these challenges must be designed with cooperation in mind, but I'm the only one here. What about your clone sheep? That's just the exit, I guess. Okay, let's try this. Oh, interesting. This is gonna be weird. You can take a second one, but you can't... Okay. I want to do this. I don't think that's right either. Let me give myself some wiggle room. When you not only play a puzzle game by yourself, but playing it with yourself, the extra solitary layer. Uh-huh. Thanks, me. Always looking out for me. Me. You're a real one. Okay, that was fun. I enjoyed it. We need this one too. We need both of these for C. Oh, okay. We can keep trying. Where Jen is putting a medal on Jen, yeah. Jen the human clone. I've been a human for a long time. It was time to take a break with this game. What can I say? Epitaph. Child program, codename @ terminated here, fatal flaw in series firmware, final memory dump, life short, progeny programs, dog. Dog didn't make it. Sad. I feel like we just met them. And now they're already gone. Is this another time capsule?
DNA is information transmitted across time. The living and the dead are part of the same chain, bound together by chemistry. That's true of all species. But humanity has taken this bond further. Thanks to technology, we have access to the thoughts and ideas of people whose physical bodies are long gone. Like you listening to me now. Even though I'm definitely dead at this point, you're part of that chain. You have the capacity to remember.
Weird. It's talking about memories as DNA. Getting late, I better go have fun being a robot clone. Thanks, Kane. Have a good one. Take care. Appreciate you stopping in. Alright, let's try this. A box up high. Where? Where is
this? I shall not allow the corruption of my garden. Be
You
gone.
gonna terminate my program? Whoa. Elohim, you okay, dude? You alright? Your walls are fading a little bit. What's going on up there? Assuming the voice is coming from any particular direction. Yeah, a little scary. Interior design is Elohim's passion. What's in here that I want? Ooh, another connector. And there's one here. And there's this red, which is how we have to beat it. And there's a box up high. Just so happens I need that box. Oh, there's another connector in here. Can I get that first? No. I don't know. I have so many questions. Okay. Hang on, everybody. We got this. Maybe not. Yeah, the line of sight on this is tricky. I want to open this up again before we open the other room. Since we're outside, wouldn't it be exterior design? What? Outside? Inside? What is interior? What is exterior? Who can say? What if we put a box over here and use it to get that? But the only box is the one that we're trying to get down, so I don't think that's accurate. Here. Why did I do this wrong? Oh, what is happening? I feel like we have to put a connector on top of this box. Or on top of this fan, I mean. That's so goofy looking. Alright, I'll be back. I need all of these to get this other room to work. I found infinite happiness again. It reminds me of in Portal when you make the two portals next to each other and you drop a turret in and it like hops out of one and then back and then in and then back and you see it like jumping up and down. You know, physics. Portals. Alright, here, we need this box. It's of the utmost importance. Thanks. Oh. Sometimes you forget there's a wall. We only need these just to open this other door, right? Oh, I don't even need to connect it to anything. I just gotta put it down. Come here. It's my favorite. Now we gotta back out. And now we gotta go like that. And that. And that. Nope. That was fun. I enjoyed that. More boxes on fans. Please. We need this one too. What's up with this rubble? I don't know, Elohim. Your world is crumbling. I say it's your world. I don't know whose world it is. I don't know who you are. Aw, this one doesn't have a play button. Wait, that last one didn't either? I missed my clone. This one's called the right angle, I think it said? Oh, this isn't the same type of orb. This is the interrupted connection orb. Excuse you? What's going on over here? Confetti. Wheatley, right, yeah. He is the words, and the words are the world, and the world is the words. Alright, hang on, we gotta investigate. Excuse you. My handy dandy stepladder. Oh, there's a star. Ugh. Why is there always a star? Hello? Alright, let's focus. Let's try to focus on the sigils. It seems that mistakes are easily forgiven here. I thought I had surely died, yet here I am, reset, rebooted, reborn. I will tackle these challenges anew. Child program Samsara terminated here. Program failed to pass random memory test. Final memory dump. Being torn limb from limb by machines for the rest of eternity becomes less and less appealing to me. I thought, yeah, Samsara died earlier. I thought. Maybe this is a different version of Samsara. Version 72.3. That was graphic. Are you actually a secret door? No. I have traveled to the edge of the known world, though it seems to stretch forever. Our domain is much less than we imagined. Thanks, Bush. Oh, I have an idea. Wait. Oh, shoot. No, I messed it up. Okay, that's fine. I put this back because I thought maybe it was telling me that I needed to have it there. But I think I need to have it here. Yeah. So that I can see it through this door. Is it still tall enough though? Oh, and what about these ones? Maybe the block needs to be here. Dang it! It opens for a split second. Oh, this is so silly. I have to backtrack. That's not tall enough. How can I fix that? Angles and stuff. No, come on. Select, select, connect. Takes so long to open. Okay, I can go forward, but I can't go that far forward because then I lose line of sight with this. Does this make any sense? I hope so. I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work still. I moved it like an inch forward. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Wait, what did I do wrong this time? Let's do all these. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, come on. Because it's blocking the one but not the other. What did I do before that got this to work? Now I'm just forgetful. How was I practicing making this arc from here to there? Is it because I had the box over here first and then I moved it? Because the only way I can get this one open from here to there is if I put this one on a box. And I need to keep my connections together when I pick up these things. I keep dropping the connections. So if I move this one, I have to make sure not to undo all my connections. And right now, if I move this one, the door's gonna close. I don't trust myself. No, it doesn't work like that because it didn't stay connected because I lost line of sight. I think. It's not gonna work. At least we got to the point where I could still test this second angle here. And that one actually is working. But I don't know how to keep this other door open. Have a good one, Cavernous. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, back to the drawing board. Although, if I keep all these connections together, I should be able to still mess around with this. I just don't understand. I just don't understand. There's no other tools to play with here. Oh, I messed it up. Okay, whatever. I swear we had it set up and I just needed to adjust the angle on this cube. And then when I went back to do it again, I had no idea how I had it set up. But there must have been something I was missing, clearly. Wild. This thing is the bane of my existence. Be gone. Be gone, foul beast. What if I just do that? And use the block here. But if it blocks that line, it's still not enough to get across here. Orbs were a mistake. Maybe I can use it for long enough to get that other connection established. Wait. Oh, is the block in the way of this? But then as soon as I move it... Wheatley is a person too. Wheatley and the frogs and everybody is a person. Hi Devo, welcome in. How's it going? Happy time zone. This is rough. That wasn't even the one I needed to move. We're playing Talos Principle. It's a puzzle game with some cool backstory. And I'm trying to get... This is the laser source. It bounces off these little tripods. It reflects off of them. And I'm trying to get it to the end point, which is all the way over in that other side of the map. You can't see it from here. But I'm having a hard time doing so. That's the finishing one. These orbs, these Wheatleys keep getting in the way though. That noise is kind of annoying. How? I must not have had this figured out the way I thought I had this figured out. I could have sworn that the only thing I needed to fix was the angle between these two tripods, but I don't know how I figured out a way to keep this door open the whole time. Can you block the orbs from going in and... that's what we're trying to figure out. I don't know yet, but I'm not looking for, puzzle help yet. We're figuring it out one step at a time. I just feel like there needs to be another connector or something. It's not gonna open. I don't know how I did it. How much line of sight do we have? Yeah, no, you can't like walk forward through this. Yeah, it's just that's like you can block them, but I don't have anything to block them with yet. I'm so confused. This is the closest we've gotten, and it's still not right. How far forward can I go and still see this laser? I can't block this thing and do this connection at the same time, can I? Like this? Huh. No. That would be cool. Can use my body to block the Wheatley. I don't know. I thought that we had it, and now I will have to like go back and watch it again because I don't understand how that one thing that was happening was happening. Let's go to the next section. Let's find one of these pieces that we want for elevator 1. Sure, I could stick around here, set my hopes on eternal life, on righting every wrong, but the closest I'll ever get is these words on the wall before you. Thanks. We're all just trying to have our memory go down in history. That's the goal. We haven't tried any of these yet. 5. Play button, fans, cubes, connectors, and terminals.
I see all. I know all.
So.
My power knows no bounds.
Yeah, okay.
And yet your will is free because you were made to be free. It is the very principle of your existence, without which the trials of this world would hold no meaning. To seek salvation must be your choice. In the beginning...
Oh, dang. I want to try escaping while he's in the middle of a conversation, and then he won't be able to say the words thing. But no, he still says the words thing. There's a star up there. How did that get up there? Local library. Osiris 7. Tell me of the fearsome demons of the Duat, the dying man said to the wise scribe. Though their terrible forms are loathsome to behold, they are not evil, for they are the servants of the gods. Truly, they are the blessed doorkeepers and guardians of holy paths. Their charge is to judge whether we are worthy to pass the gates that lead to Aru, and so they challenge us with riddles or in combat. Is this true of all the beings that live in the Duat? Some say that it is not so, that there are ancient gods whose names have been forgotten, and spirits of darkness whose name none have ever known, and that these must be avoided at all costs. But others say that these too serve a greater purpose in ways Osiris has not revealed to us. And what of the hidden paths that are taken by symbols? Osiris 6. /$ section. When the section percent section percent $. There's a star where? Yeah, there's these stars in seemingly unreachable places. Oh, sorry, that was 7, not 6. Coming soon. Rob McLean, Institute for Applied Nomadics. To Mom. Coming soon, your son in 3D. Hi, Mom. I promise I'll be home soon. Maybe a couple of weeks? I know. But what we're doing here is important and the team needs my help. I'm not going to wait until it's too late, I promise. But there's so much we have to set up, so much that has to work for a very, very long time. Besides, I've always wanted to work on one of these supercomputers, and believe me, L is pretty much the best there is. And the team, Mom, it's like I'm working with rock stars and mad geniuses, except nobody's heard of them outside of science journals, of course. But Dad would be totally geeking out if he knew. Maybe I can tell him about it soon, huh? Love, Rob. Cute! So, Rob, letter to Mom, is coming soon. That's the title of that one. That one's a 0 year. Are all the 0 years leading up to the launch of L and the simulation? Those are all the project years? And then this one's 2028, blog 24 alive. Are all the 2020s ones the like chat logs and chat messages? I wonder. What is the point of being alive? I know, it's an old question and not one that's easy to answer. But I mean, if you're reading this, you're alive. And someday you will stop being alive. Both of these facts are incontrovertible. So what about it then? Don't you wonder? Do you just want to go from not existing to not existing again without even considering why? You, right now, as you sit there reading this, why do you exist? What is the purpose of your life? Do you have one? Should you have one? Is it better to have a purpose or not? When you approach death, will you feel that your life had meaning? If so, why? If not, why not? What defines whether a life was good or not? It may seem abstract right now, but that moment just before death will come. It is inevitable. If you don't ask yourself these questions, how will you face the moment? Chat. Anybody want to answer? Just a casual blog post from 2028. I'm writing a note for this one. What is life? Sheesh. Hi Beer Ice, welcome in. This is so good. Just the constant conversation starters. The existential dread fuels me. Hello, philosophy. That's the last one in this library, right? Look, I'm not avoiding the questions, but... Aren't we here for puzzles? This is a pretty area. While we're on the topic, how's life treating you? It's good. It's going pretty good. How are you, Beer Ice? Thank you for the follow. Thanks for supporting a fellow human. Welcome in. We'll go ahead and try this green one. Slightly elevated sigil. Slightly elevated star. I think that's where moral codes come into play for me. Oh, this is attached. Oh, interesting. Where it's like not having a specific... Hang on. Magus, thank you for gifting us up to Beer Ice. I appreciate it. Beer Ice, welcome back to the human race. Courtesy of Magus. Enjoy your Earth Badge, your emotes, your ad-free viewing. We're so glad to have you. And Boba, welcome in. Thanks for the gifted sub. I think when you start asking questions like, on your deathbed, if you look back at your life and how you lived it, will it have had meaning? And it's like setting specific checklist things of I did this, like everything on my wish list or whatever, is really tough. And maybe you won't feel the same way at the end that you did at the beginning when you wrote the list, but like if you acted in accordance with your beliefs and but like if your beliefs changed along the way, that's okay too. Like doing the right thing, you look back and you're like, when I was set with hard decisions and I made the right choice, I feel like I'm gonna feel pretty good if I stuck to my ethics and my honor and my code and whatever that means, like whatever makes up my code, you know, and tried my best to stick to it and make how to phrase it without repeating myself. It's been a good week. Started therapy again after a 10-year of wanting to get back in. Started new diet. Buffed the yellow out of my headlights. Dang, that's so productive. Congrats. Those are some good life changes. Okay, if we do this, it's gonna turn on that fan. So I don't really know what the purpose of turning on that fan is. If we do this, I can get a cube. We like cubes. If we do this, we can get another connector And here's our slightly elevated sigil. Oh wait, I want to do this. Which one am I connecting you to? I think just this. That's not gonna have line of sight. Oh, interesting. I still don't think this is gonna work. No, because it's not tall enough. It's not tall enough no matter what. Hey Ture, thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. It must be this one then. Can't even see the other connector. Nope, still not. I don't think we can make it around this corner. Interesting. Oh yeah, we need this. Duh. Ooh, hello? Wait, wait! We did this so well earlier. I'm assuming you need to be on top of that. No, Jen, no. No. I don't have enough things for this. Let's see what this does. Cute. What if I just connect them all at the same time? And then bring it back and put it down here in the important spot. That's not gonna work, right? We have to make sure that one is linked up with that one before I put it down. And it's gonna be getting its light from here. Oh. Nope, Jen. Because this is blocking line of sight? Yeah. Hey, there it is. Oh, it doesn't have line of sight either. What is this puzzle? I was hoping by some magic it would be perfectly set up right there. That was hard enough. Isn't this a green one? Boo. It doesn't matter though where, like that's always, that block is always gonna be above that fan. You can't move it forward or backward. This feels the same way that Baba feels. Baba is you when you like try a solution and you go through all the steps to, I mean it's not a solution, it's an attempt. And you're like, okay, let's see if this works. And you try it and it doesn't work and then you're like, well that's all my brain can think of, so. I don't know if there's another line of sight with something else somewhere. I don't think so. Yeah, there's no line of sight from here. What else can I see from here? The moon. Can I put it on top of that thing? Where's our other connector? Oh, here it is. Is this just supposed to float? Is that why? It doesn't though. We've done this before. It's fun. Whee! Whee! Quasi Boba version 99 believes in you. Thank you. You all have more faith in me than I do. Like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time either, because I'm just, okay, let me try this button, now let me try this button, now let me try this button. See if it generates a coherent thought. It doesn't usually. We do have line of sight here. Is the wild thing that you can't get it to start. Maybe we need some redundancy there. Like if we do this and this and then use the other one to get it going, we'll have 2 connections and then the other one will stay. Okay, so now that one should stay. Hey, there we go. Get turned around. Can we make it work? Finally. I think because I tried that the first... Oh, really? God. Because I tried that the first time and it didn't work, that I... hang on. That I didn't try the other method. I, like, gave up on that right away. Oh, I can't do this from here. I don't know how this works. Yeah, thanks. That's what I was trying to do live, but I forget how it works from OBS. Anyway, thanks everybody. That worked out. Stealing my thunder. Never. Impossible. I won't let it. I can't believe that there's a star on top of the tower like that. I wonder, it makes me wonder what happens if you hit stars with lasers. You know? Is that good? Good for anything? We could try. It could be fun. It doesn't allow you to select it. I don't know. Let's pick a final puzzle for the day. Was that the only green one in here? Ooh, or we could just explore in here. Oh, I see. I didn't even take a minute to look at this yet. Oh. Fun. Maybe we'll just play with this. Dare I call it an environmental puzzle? Thanks, Austin. We had the epiphany. I needed to go back and try something earlier that I had ruled out. That's usually the case. Oh, hi. A purple one. Oh, wait, what section are we in? 5? I don't feel like reading through all these right now. Finish. Terminal. I'm sorry. They look really good, but we'll start out tomorrow with these ones. We are playing this again tomorrow. Sneaking in a Tuesday stream. We streamed Tuesday, was it last week? Because of 4th of July, I skipped Monday. And I liked it. I don't know, I'm just trying some stuff out. Why not? Oh, that's fun. How do I get in there? Oh. I hear the noises. How do I get to it? It's over there. It's in the finish line. Ugh. I have to make it so complicated. Let me take it with me. Nope. I'm assuming that has to do with the answer for this. Makes sense to try and find out how... Yeah, what works. Have a good one, Jaeger. Thanks for hanging out. Take care. Have a good night. We're gonna wrap up pretty soon. Oh, what's this? Secret tunnel? Fascinating. In the beginning were the words. Okay. Well, maybe then we'll stop in front of this puzzle so I know it's the one I'm looking at. To be a potential solution to get up there. Hopefully we can get that star. It might be too hard for me. There was a QR code on the other side of the tunnel? Oh. Okay, fine. Oh, there's something on top of there too. Or is that just part of the building? Looks weird. These half buildings are cool. Oh, that's the terminal we found. Okay. This one says... The voice keeps saying that this world is a garden, but all I see is a desert full of ruins. Splash. The loudest splash noises you've ever heard. No, don't kill me. What is that noise? Do you hear that? Not the splash, but the whirring. Hello? Can I help you? Why does the splashing have to be so loud? It's so loud. I'm sorry. I wanna figure out what that other noise is. Didn't know if you should point out if you miss QR codes. Yeah, I don't love it. Just for future reference. I know it's not super necessary. I wish you would have asked first. But I also don't want to miss them, and I know they're not like breaking the game to find them or not find them. What was that noise? I don't hear it here. I hear it right here. Why? You hear it too, right? Okay, I'm gonna do a splash. It's a fan! There's a fan in there! Sneaky and cheeky. What's over here? Now we're making headway. Maybe, maybe not. I wish the splashing wasn't so loud. Oh, goodness. We're going on a swim. Oh! I found a key! I've never seen one like that before. Come on, let me parkour. No! I don't think it's gonna let me. It looks like I should be able to. This is like Metroid Prime all over again. Hey, there we go. What is this? Can I zoom? That's as far as it goes to the right. Hey! What's that? And that's as far as it goes to the left. And now I'm disoriented. Anything else I want to look at over here? You can't see the moon. It doesn't let me go that far to the right. The Easter eggs video is over an hour long. Mm-hmm. Well, we found one. Ta-da! Well, we found a key and we found this. I don't know if this requires... Yeah, this requires the key. Property of Ian. Keys only. Keys, please. Insert the key, pull the handle, watch. I feel like there should be more to look at over here. That looks like a platform or something. Can we swim that far? I doubt it.
The beginning word.
Yeah, the words, yeah. Alright. This was a good area. The answers to your questions will not be given to you. You must seek them yourself. Now I feel rewarded for all of my poking around in areas that I don't need to poke around in. Which is not a good thing. It means this playthrough is going to take that much longer. I'm already so slow. But I do like a good Easter egg. Oh, Elohim doesn't want me to go look at this one.
In the beginning were the words, and the words made the world.
Boo. The fun thing is that's redacted in the redacted jam. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. It depends. I guess the only thing I will say... Okay, that was weird. The game's... It's a little dry at times. I have to like space puzzles between the terminals, between Easter egg hunts, between chatting. Like, It's kind of monotonous. We've been in the desert for a while. But it's a puzzle game. What puzzle game isn't a little bit, you know, dry? So if I can keep like, okay, excited, you know, some momentum going, then I don't care if it's a long playthrough. We'll play it as long as it's exciting and fun. Did I visit all of these perimeter spots now? Is this where we started? That really cracked you up. Elohim gets on my nerves. Oh, come on.
The beginning were the words.
I pushed it too far. I wonder if that resets the key then. Maybe we have to go grab it every time I get reset. Alright. That's as good a time as any.